Hey, welcome back to the Hustle Free Entrepreneur Podcast, the space where we cut through the noise, ditch hustle culture, and learn about how to build a sustainable business. I'm your host, Jesse, and today we're going to be talking about something that all entrepreneurs need to hear about. And it's all about how to measure success in your business. Here's the truth: revenue does not give you a full story. I know that it can be tempting or even discouraging to see people mentioning that they have seven-figure businesses, and you're thinking, how is this even possible? Or you might even be stuck as to how can you even get to that level because your calendar is busy and you're chasing some of the vanity metrics that are out there. And let me just tell you that it is just a vanity metrics, because a busy calendar, high follower counts, or six-figure launches in someone's business does not guarantee a healthy business. And what actually matters are the numbers that show you whether your business is sustainable, profitable, or even aligned with your goals. So today I'm going to break down 5 simple KPIs, which is also known as key performance indicators, every service-based and event industry business should know and should be tracking. And don't worry, you won't need an MBA or to be the best with numbers to be able to do this, because I am committed to being able to explain this in an easy way for you to follow. So my guarantee is that by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly which numbers to focus on and how to use them to make smarter and informed decisions inside of your business. So let's be real. Hustle culture has sold us on the idea of more. In fact, they try to say that more is better. You need more clients, you need more hours in a day, more marketing efforts, more social media content, more marketing channels. But more often leads to burnout and fatigue, and sometimes just absolute discouragement. So today we're going to shift. Success isn't just about growth, it's about clarity and control. I want you to look at creating not just a business, but a business that is based in profit and purpose as the foundation of your business model. The problem that we're facing is that too many entrepreneurs are chasing vanity metrics. They find themselves focused on follower counts, likes, going viral, or just on gross revenue alone, without actually looking at what makes a sustainable business. In fact, some of you may not even know what that means. In order to make this easier, we're going to be focusing on how to have simpler metrics so that you're able to understand what does success look like inside of your business. For those of you that have never heard of this term, or you're needing a quick refresher about KPIs, KPI stands for key performance indicators. And then that's just really a fancy way of saying a number that tells you what's really happening in your business. So think about KPIs as a dashboard inside of your business. When we think of a dashboard, we often refer to our car. So think about in your car, you need to have not just the car, but you need to know your fuel gauge, your speedometer, and your check engine light. Because if you don't have any of those, you won't know, is my car going to make it down the street? And I would assume that a lot of us would not feel 100% confident in driving in a car that we can't actually tell if it's going fast, anything's going on in this car, if I even have gas in it. So you don't want to do the exact same thing when it comes to your business. You should want to run your business knowing exactly what's going on and what's keeping it moving forward. And the reality is that KPIs take the guesswork out of your decision-making process. They show you what's working, what needs fixing, and where to put your energy next. In short, it takes all the guesswork out of what's really happening inside of your business. So I'm going to break down 5 KPIs that are going to be super simple for you to start tracking. But first of all, I am giving you all these 5 so that you're not having to do all 5 in the beginning. So do not think Jesse is going to stress me out. So you want to make sure you watch to the end and take notes as we're learning together. Well, not learning together, I'm teaching. I recommend for you to take notes so that you're able to follow along as I'm teaching you about these KPIs. So the first one that I want to share with you is your lead to client conversion rate. And some of us know of it just as your conversion rate. So, why does this matter? It tells you if your marketing and sales are actually working inside of your business. The way that you calculate this is dividing your clients by your leads and multiplying it by 100. That will tell you what your conversion rate. With those two components, it's going to help you of understanding where there may be potentially a problem. If you are finding that you're not getting a lot of clients, you may have a problem with how many leads are coming in. You can find that some people may get a bunch of people leads that are coming in, but what's happening is that because of improper marketing, you're attracting a lot of people that are not a good fit. So it may be looking at your numbers to find out, how do I shift how I'm marketing my company so I'm actually attracting more qualified leads? If your conversion, you have the right amount of leads, the right amount of people coming in, but your conversion isn't that great, maybe it might be your sales process. So, whatever your number is, I just recommend for you to not be discouraged or find yourself tempted to do something out of the box, except if you're doing things manually. But I do recommend for you to track this number. And a quick one for you is going to be to pull your numbers from last month. And if you had 20 leads that came in, and 4 of those leads became clients, that means your conversion rate is 20%. If you did not have 20 leads coming in, it may be, again, looking at how are you marketing to get those leads in and what are you doing as far as outreach to improve that number. I always tell people, do not get discouraged by the number, because the number is just telling you exactly what's happening. By knowing what's happening, it allows for you to make an action to move forward instead of just like, I want more clients. But what are you doing to get those clients? You just have to have presence to that. The second thing I recommend for you to track is your average revenue per client. This matters because it shows you how much each client contributes to your bottom line. This is important for you to know because I find that people can be unaware of how many bookings or clients they'll have to work with on a monthly or annual basis just to hit their goals. Because if it's going to take you 200 bookings to hit your goal, you may or may not have the capacity to do that. So you want to be honest with yourself. Do you want to have a business that's going to require you to do 10 bookings or more a month for you to be able to pay your bills or barely pay your bills? This is important for you to know because it allows for you to understand, do you need to be increasing your prices? So the way that we know how much your average client is spending, what you'll do is divide your total revenue by the number of clients. This is something that I love to do, I would say quarterly, if not twice a year, because we've been trying to shift our client base inside of my own event business to be able to make sure we're maximizing the touches we have of our clients so that we're improving our profit margins. So you want to know how much your average client is spending and looking at, do I need to increase my price or do I need to figure out how to improve how much they're spending with me? So that's going to bring me to the quick one that I want to give to you. So the quick one that you can do when it comes to this metrics is to look for at least one upsell or add-on you can introduce to increase how much your clients are spending with you. Sometimes we focus on how do we get more clients and it ends up having us overworked. I do recommend for us to look at how do we have upsells and stop stuffing our packages due to how we value what we're charging people. I find that people overcompensate for their services by stuffing all of these add-ons into their service. And it feels like, oh yeah, this person just spent $6,000, $10,000 with me, but they're going to be sucking the time out of you, or it's going to be a lot of extra resources and supplies you're going to have to use. So, upsells are a great way to still be able to have a baseline service, but it allows for the clients to then customize with the things that they're adding on. So, this might be you are someone that does a 360 booth. Your add-ons could be the red carpet. It can be some special props. It can be a special type of backdrop. Like your normal backdrops might just be satin, but if they want a sequence one, then they can upsell themselves on the higher quality backdrops. So again, upsells are the way to go instead of you trying to give the world to someone at a low price, which will not be a sustainable business. The third metric that I do recommend for you to track is going to be your client retention and your repeat business. This is important when it comes to retaining a client because retaining a client is easier and cheaper than getting new clients. Inside of my event business, my return client base is pretty high. I don't really focus on attaining a lot of customers in a year. I really try to maximize how much someone has to spend and getting them to spend with me repeatedly when it comes to my event business. So client retention is something that's super important to me. And when I do notice that that number is dropping, I know that I need to take action. And it might not be something I can improve. It may be just how the life cycle of my customers spend adjusting. But if I'm not tracking it and I always think, oh, I'm going to always be working with these 20 customers, and I'm not keeping on top of the fact that 5 of those people haven't reached out to me for a couple of months, then that's a problem. So I always recommend for people to keep on top of this number. And the way that you track this is looking at how many clients came back this month compared to last month. So depending again on the type of service you provide, you can look at how do I get people to spend more money with you. So if you're someone that has a business that really specializes in maybe weddings or baby showers, it might not necessarily be on a monthly basis. This can be on an annual basis. You want to have a system that you're using that's allowing for you to keep on track of how many times a person is working with you so that you're able to re-engage that individual. The quick win for this one is to reach out to 3 past clients today with a tailored offer and a check-in message so that you're able to re-engage them. If you don't currently have a offer, this is the time to create a offer. You know that we're probably coming up to holiday party season. Is there something you're able to offer only to clients you're re-engaging for the holiday party season if that's something you desire to do? But you want to make sure that you're not just churning new business and not taking the time to re-engage customers. Because if you're always churning and getting new clients, but you're not re-engaging, I'm going to let you know this today. Your sales funnel has a huge hole in the bottom of it. Because if you're not re-engaging people, growing your business in 5 years is going to suck because it means every year you're having to get brand new people because we're not learning how to re-engage people so they spend with us. You already know HoneyBook can make your life easier. However, you may be in a position where you know that you're not using the automations or any of the really cool features to the fullest of its capacity. Let's be real, learning how to set up a CRM can feel challenging. So if you're tired of DIYing your CRM so that you can actually start to convert clients and feel the ease from using this platform, it's time for you to check out my done for you services so that you can get access to workflows, templates, and automations. My done for you services are intended to make your event business thrive. So let's take the headache out of the process and get started together because you deserve to be able to focus on what you want to focus on, which is your business, which is to make money inside of your company. So are you ready to have a system that's working for you? If so, click in the description so that you can set up a free consultation with me today. The fourth metric that I recommend for you to check is going to be your profit margin. This matters because it allows for you to understand that revenue is vanity and profit will help you keep your sanity. When it comes to profit margins, this can be your gross profit or your net profit. I do recommend for you to keep track of both of those. If you're not using a financial system like QuickBooks, that's what I do use. You can use an Excel spreadsheet. I do have a free resource that I'll make sure to put in the show notes for you to check that out. For those of you that refuse to get onto to those types of platforms, you have an Excel spreadsheet. The reason why you want to be able to have this information is because it will help you of understanding how much does it really cost for you to run your business. Your gross profit is essentially your revenue minus your cost of goods your cost to execute that specific service, subtracted from each other. So let's say you charge someone $1,000 to do their event, whatever your service is, but it costs you $500 to actually execute that. That means you have a gross profit of this specific event of $500. But that's not where it ends, because you have subscriptions, you have business licenses, hopefully you have insurance, different things like that. So whatever you have, that's going to now be subtracted from your gross profit to give you your net profit. This is important for you to do because your revenue does not equate to a healthy business. If you don't know how much it costs to run your business, you might find yourself in a position of gradually sinking your ship, because if you're not tracking how much it costs to execute your services in this specific season and time where tariffs are going up with how much it costs to do your service, you can potentially be losing money every month that you're not aware of how much it costs for you to run your business. Because if you're not aware, then you won't know that you need to increase your price. Keep on top of this number because it will truly help you of understanding if you have a sustainable business. So the quick one that I do want to recommend is to audit your subscriptions and some of the expenses that are coming outside of your business so that that improves your net profit, or looking at places that you can adjust some of your suppliers so that that can help with reducing some of your gross profit. But look at how you can cancel at least one tool. The thing that I always do say is don't just cancel tools and subscriptions because you're like, well, I'm not using it. If you're not using something that's going to save you time and make your business efficient, you canceling that subscription does not mean that your business is going to be more profitable. It might actually be that it's going to take you longer to do what you need to do so that you can make more money. So I do recommend for you to, yes, look at how you can remove one subscription, but I do recommend not doing it to a subscription that is intended to help with your efficiency in you running your business. So just use discernment. The final metric is going to be the time spent on revenue generating tasks. This is important to do because you don't want to fall victim of always focusing on the fact that you're busy when you're not actually doing things that are going to help your business be profitable. In fact, I always recommend for people to allocate anywhere between 30 to 40% of their time to income producing activities. I find that when people are spending 80, 90% of their time doing all of the things inside of their business, they're not actually putting time to the activities and actions that are going to help with their business growing. So what they find themselves in is the position of feast or famine, because I'm busy, busy, busy doing all these things for people right now. And then once my clients are done and served, now I got to find more because I haven't been finding a flow of being efficient with my time so that I'm able to ensure that I am still growing. And the way that you track this is going to be how many hours per week are you actually doing money generating activities. One of the tools that I like to use is called Clockify. And I am not as consistent as I should be, but it's something I'm going to start doing because I am on this mission right now for restructuring my business and how I use my time. So Clockify is a really great platform and it's free 99. So it's not going to cost you anything to use it. So you can say, I'm doing social media creation during this time block. Instead of just finding yourself scrolling, 30 minutes will turn into an hour turn into 2 hours. So you want to make sure, again, that you're not just blowing through the time, and using something in the beginning to keep on top of that is something I do recommend. So here's a quick win that I want to give to you when it comes to this. I would recommend for you to block one focus hour tomorrow strictly for sales, client work, or outreach. In fact, I would love to hear from you. Would it be impactful for me to do a video on different ways to do revenue generating tasks, because I find that we don't talk about this enough, because I feel that we get so wrapped up in the day to day and not realize that I haven't done anything to actually produce revenue inside of my business. So comment below and I will take that in consideration to do a video or an episode that's going to help you further with this. So there you have it. 5 KPIs that are able to give you a real picture of your business health instead of you just being wrapped up and busy. And here's the reminder that I'm going to say again. You don't need to track everything. I do recommend for you to choose 1 to 2 of these metrics that you're going to build from there and be consistent with tracking. And remember, success isn't based on the industry or someone else. Success is going to be based off of you, your business, and the direction in which you're wanting it to grow. So I would love to hear from you. Which KPI are you going to start tracking this week, and send me a DM on Instagram at Green Eyed Ambition or leave a comment wherever you're listening. And if this episode has been impactful for you and giving you clarity, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur who's ready to build a business smarter, not harder. Until next time, keep building your hustle-free business.